fun with it.
It looks like we are underway. We already have a difference in routing.
Ooh, Smite's routing paying off a little more, but I imagine Serberoth will be going straight to the Sanctuary next anyway. But yeah, 300 rupees at the Sanctuary, only 20 at Link's house.
Yeah, and Serberoth just quits out and goes straight up to Sanctuary after that.
So we are going to be seeing a pretty similar route here. They're going to go up here to the top left of Hyrule, maybe grab some rupees and hopefully some bombs from the tree poles and the bush crab up here. Check the lumberjack's tree item, go through the Lost Woods, and then end up in Kakariko, where there is a huge amount of items to collect.
And the first tree pull being 20 rupees is definitely useful. Just a heart piece on the lumberjacks, so unlikely that they want that.
Yes, and that is not a guaranteed Aghanim Tower, not required, but you know, it gives them a little breathing room. They still have some chances to find some more items that'll give them Dark World access. So Aghanim is not off the table yet, but it's a little less likely.
So what do you think the first actual item they're going to find is so far? All we've seen is a bunch of rupees.
I think it's going to be the Power Glove. I've been seeing the Power Glove very early in a lot of seeds lately, and it's kind of a good item where it doesn't really necessarily open up that much unless you have some other items as far as the logic goes. But still, it's a good item to have. It is 1/3 of that Dark World access that they need without Aghanim, so that's probably a good bet of what we might see.
That is definitely true. Power Glove's always the good thing to see.
And it looks like Smight is going to do his shopping before he actually checks any of the item locations. Honestly, a smart play. He just has no bombs and does not want to take the risk of potentially checking a location, not get bombs from it, and then have to come back later.
It's a very convenient bottle location, right below where you need to turn in the bottle. I think that's actually vanilla.
Yes, that is a vanilla That is a vanilla item location, and it's vanilla contents too, since bottles do not have anything in the vanilla version of the game. Okay, so Smite buying his 10 bombs. He'll be able to check all of the Kakariko places and a few of the other Light World locations. And at this point, I like to say that you're usually going to be good on bombs, just because when you have 10, your chances are pretty good that you'll find some others in dungeons or on enemy drops. So they should be fine after that initial purchase.
Yep, it's never a bad idea to pick up some bombs.
So now we're going to see Smite check the greenhouse in Kakariko and the waterfall, or not waterfall, the wishing well, I'm sorry. So we'll see some more items here.
Yeah, Serberoth, I believe, also went to go pick up his bottle as well. We got a blue tunic from Smight. Or did Serberoth not go in there? I was watching Smight for that.
Oh, wow. Both tunics are actually in the wishing well. So going to be a very defensive seed, at least this early on.
Well, that makes it a lot less likely they're going to die for things. But holy cow, does that Zora look scary in the red tunic.
Yeah, I do not want to get on the wrong side of that fish, that's for sure.
We also have the better cane, I believe, on Smite's side. I am a big fan of the blue cane.
Yeah, the Cane of Burna is a pretty good safety item to have. A lot of people say bad things about it. It causes lag, but you know, it really does come in handy if you don't have the cape and you really want to get through some boss fights without taking damage. So it's honestly worth the time as opposed to dying to a boss and having to go through the entire dungeon again.
I just want to see them have to, have to kill blind with the blue cane because they don't have any other weapons.
Yeah, that's true. That has actually happened in a secondary race before. It is possible, even with just the normal magic meter.
Well, so far, nothing important is boot locked. We just got some bombs on top of the bookshelf.
Yeah, even though Kakariko has given us some good defensive items, it hasn't actually given us any progression yet. So we're going to have to look elsewhere for some of those items.
We just found a piece of progression. Smight is going to go grab it out of the race game. Did you catch what it was?
I actually did not know. What do we have on the race ledge?
Do you have a Swag Duck Anthem at the ready?
I don't know about that. Like, I know the Swag Duck Anthem, but I just do not feel comfortable singing it.
No, neither do I. I mean, we have the original singer in this voice chat with us, but I don't think he would be interested in singing. I don't think so.
Yeah, I really don't want to put him to shame and put him through all that misery. So, yeah, sorry, guys.
DT threw shame out the window. Yeah, I still have shame. It's strange.
I'm sorry, your voice is just so beautiful, DT. I can't compare to it. And yeah, much like Smight, Serberoth is also going to grab that flute. I mean, why wouldn't you? Even if Misery Mire is not required, it's still a good traveling item to use to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, just being able to travel like Smite's doing right now, just go straight down to there. So we have a map check here. I believe I caught Vanilla Green Pendant, Crystal 5 at Desert, and just another crystal up at Hera.
All right. That means we'll have 2 pendants in the Dark World, so that's not too bad. Some of the Dark World dungeons are longer, but there are some very short Dark World dungeons too, so we'll have to wait until we get that Dark World check before we see what dungeons they'll be entering.
There are also more items in the Dark World dungeons.
That is true.
Likely you're going to have to dive into them.
Yes, this is version 26 after all, so yeah, my bad.
Smite's going to go into the mini Moldorm cave. And
Yes.
Scorian, you want to know what my least favorite dungeon to run? It's got to be Misery Mire. The place is, well, a misery.
Yeah, Misery Mire can be a bit of a pain to navigate, especially if you're not that familiar with all the item locations.
Well, 8 minutes in, we already have a sword in the mini Moldorm cave. Smight making, great use of those bombs. Also a hammer.
Oof. Ooh, that's 2/3. Oh, no, we don't have the gloves yet, my bad. That is 1/3 of the Dark World access, so we have a hammer.
I think the mini Moldorm cave is definitely living up to be the new hype cave.
Which makes sense. There's 5 items there, just like the Dark World hype cave, so yeah, I agree with that.
So Serberoth is making his way up into Hyrule Castle, checking the uncle item. Well, Smight takes his flute over and gets these locations are a little bit out of the way, but it's not so bad, and you got to go there. Oh, he accidentally flutes instead of placing the bomb. Oops.
Ooh, I hate doing that sometimes. Yeah, just forgetting to make that item transition can be really frustrating.
If you know it's coming, you can dodge the duck, but I don't think Smight realized he had it.
Yeah. And Serberoth actually got another bottle inside the Uncle Cave.
Just $20 for this double dip into the Ice Rod Cave.
Serberoth took some damage before entering Hyrule Castle, but that's not too bad because there may be a possibility that he wants to use a Death Warp to get back to the beginning once he gets to the very end of this dungeon traveling through the Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, I'm not sure how comfortable these runners are doing dark rooms. Like in the secondary tournament, I've seen players of all different skill levels. So, and that is one of the harder ones to do is Hyrule Castle because it doesn't come up all that often.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, we definitely are not coming back into the Lake Hylia item.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Because Serberoth does not have a sword, gonna have to use bomb to take care of these castle guards. So we'll make this a little bit more tricky for Serberoth as opposed to Smight, who has the sword, but it can be done. There are certain items he can use to his advantage.
So this early in the race, who do you think has the lead?
At this point, I'd say Smight, just because of the sword. He's going to be able to look through Hyrule Castle a lot faster, if that is where he's going next. But it looks like he could be fleeting somewhere else. And yeah, just kind of getting a sword early doesn't really unlock a whole lot more, but it does make navigating some areas a lot more quickly. And oh, I guess he is doing Hyrule Castle. Never mind.
No, Serberoth is out of bombs. That is a bit of a problem for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to get through this. If he can kill this guard somehow.
But he did find a very nice progressive item there. That power glove will make he might have to go back and find the things that are in Zelda's chest, but at least he got something useful out of there.
That is very true. He did get something. And once he goes down to the mini mold cave, he will have his 2 out of 3 Dark World items. So that's another bonus.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I was about to wonder where he's going. I believe he's going to go pick up some bombs from the bomb merchant down here, or find one dropped and go up to Sahasrahla. Interesting choice. I really hope that there's nothing in the Zelda's chest there, because that is not a thing that you want to have to go back and do.
Yeah, and DT actually makes a very good point in chat right now. He could have actually used that green potion that he got from the Uncle Cave to refill his Cane of Burna and potentially kill that guard and then kill the ball and chain guard with the pots in that room. So, bit of a misplay, but I can understand kind of missing that.
So Sahasrahla is hiding a shovel where we can use to go dig up something.
Sahasrahla the Gravedigger. Serberoth not opting to go to Eastern Palace, but again, I can kind of understand very low on equipment at the moment. Looking, Winnie's going to actually take that trip to Moldorum Cave so he can at least get that sword and hammer.
We will soon find out if Serberoth's missing this chest down here was important, as Smite's heading down that way. Yeah, playing his flute for all of us to hear since he still has it out, just spamming it. And just $50. So Serberoth is not going to have to go back to do that, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he did, just for his own peace of mind.
Yeah, I could potentially see a play where maybe he checks some of the other items around, like maybe the back half of Sanctuary, and then decides whether or not it'd be worth it to go back for that one item. It could even be the map. I don't think I saw the map come up. Maybe it did, but...
Yeah, I believe all they've gotten out of there is actual items. I think it was a heart container out of the first chest, the power gloves out of the second chest, and then the 50 rupees. Smite's going to go get his flute from Old Man Sahasrahla.
Shovel, not flute.
Oh, yep, that's right. The thing that you use to get the shovel.
It goes in the same...
Yeah.
It goes in the same item location. I can get that.
Serberoth's going to go check Aegina's cave.
Or not. Oh, going to Death now. Oh, realizing doesn't have the flute, so guess gonna see what's on top of Spectacle Rock and inside Spectacle Rock then.
Serberoth really needs to go back to Kakariko and buy some more bombs. Like this is really hurting him right now. Going around because he wasn't able to check Aegina's cave, wasn't able to check Ice Rod cave.
Yeah, that is definitely holding him back right now. And he has a lot of rupees to spare. I know he's probably trying to keep them for the potential Zora visit, but surely he'll find some more rupees somewhere around here. There's a Moon Pearl. There's the final piece of the Dark World access.
I didn't catch what was out of that first chest in Eastern.
I will be on the lookout if he opens his item menu. Oh, just an air capacity. Yeah. Thank you, chat.
Thank you very much. I really like this play from Smight here. Like, he can't actually complete this dungeon, but he can do everything except for Armos, and this is a pendant dungeon, so it's not necessary.
Yeah, clearing out Eastern is generally a good call. Even if you can't finish it and it's a crystal, a lot of potential places for items to be. It's a very early location. Honestly, not a bad call to come here and just check it out just in case, because you can get here pretty much from the beginning of the game, so it can always have something.
Yeah, it's pretty much just another overworld location. There's 2 out of the 3 items, second one being yet another 50 rupees.
Yeah, mindset. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, generally a mindset people have for version 26 is you almost want to treat all dungeons as overworld locations because, yeah, they might be a bit longer than some overworld locations in caves, but they have a lot of items, and it's honestly kind of a good thing to do because there are, in terms of the races we've watched and the versions we've seen play out, there are a lot of items in dungeons in this version.
Yeah, it's generally, like, I think the standard routing is you do crystal dungeons you can clear, pendant dungeons you can clear before you do a lot of overworld clears. We are going to get to see what the shovel has up here on Serberoth's screen. Just quarter heart.
Just a little bit of love that Sasha Rala led us to.
Grave digging up some hearts.
Oh my gosh. Don't know if I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it either.
Serberoth realizing that one bomb will not be enough to help him through many Moldorm caves, so finally making the decision to buy some bombs. I think that's going to be a great call for him. It'll kind of put his mind at ease and allow him to check more locations now.
Yeah, and there was nothing of value in Eastern Palace, and the last item is held by Armos.
You always hate when that happens, just because there's always going to be that question of, is there something there? Is there something there? And technically it is the green pendant, so it does give him maybe an incentive to go back, because it's 2 items, but still, it's not a great feeling.
I hate this dark room that Smite's doing right now. Finding that key rat to kill is just a pain.
Yeah, it does kind of help if you have kind of a distance item or like hook shot or boomerang or something. But yeah, just sword, it can be a little irritating to put up with.
Honestly, if I was going to do that, like Smite may have forgotten that he has the blue cane. The blue cane will probably do a pretty solid job of finding that rat.
Oh yeah, that would actually. I agree.
Serberoth's going to get his hammer and sword and probably be kicking himself a little bit for not making it here earlier and running out of bombs.
Yeah, but he does now have the full Dark World access now, so that could potentially lead him into checking Dark World now. So that could give him a little bit of an advantage if he decides to check like some of those early Dark World locations, and it gives him a better progression item, because right now the rest of the Light World is not exactly paying out as much as you'd like it to.
It looks like Serberoth's hitting up a quick fake flipper. Looks like he's going to head and do the hobo under the bridge, figure out that he doesn't need to come back to the island, and probably go do the water walking glitch to get the waterfall items.
That's right. He does have the Moon Pearl, which will allow him to do that and get the 2 items in the waterfall cave.
Old man just giving away some love.
First Sasharalo, then the old man. Is Agana also going to give some love as well?
So I've heard potential I've heard that there's a potential to soft lock off this fake flipper that Serberoth's attempting here. I've never actually seen it though.
Yeah, I actually haven't either. It really kind of depends on the placement of where you are. If you kind of skip the screen transition, yeah, you can soft lock right here, but I don't usually have a problem with that fake flipper either.
Huh. Well, Smite's going to go pick up their Moon Pearl and also have the full Dark World access. I'd be interested to see where they go first with it. I'd probably be partial to go check Hype Cave, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Dark World Hype Cave would be a good call, just on the off chance he might get the Titan's Mitt, because, ooh, Serberoth taking a death, by the way.
Yeah, if you get hit when you are fake flippered, it just instantly kills you, which is better than, I believe it in the vanilla game, it soft locks, it like hard locks the game. So I'd rather just be dead.
That is very true. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I generally like checking the Dark World Hype Cave first in this scenario on the off chance he might get the Titan's Mitt, because it will allow him to get to that early portal here as opposed to going around like Smight is currently. But, yeah. Not a huge time sink, but you do have to kind of go around that little loop, and it's slower than just going straight up from that screen.
Looks like Smite's heading down to check out Village of Outcasts. We have a map check. I believe I caught red and blue are Skullwoods and Thievestown, and I think the other 5 and 6 crystal was Meyer.
I believe I saw that as well. So yeah, both Skullwoods and Thievestown are pendants. Honestly, not bad pendants to have, because they're very short dungeons. You can very quickly just go through them, breeze through them, and get all the items in there. But that also means that some of the faster dungeons are technically not required as well. So
looks like Serberoth's doing a little bit of farming up some money to fake flipper up to Zora. Well, Smite's starting to clear out the overworld in the dark, or dark side.
in the C-shape house, we just have 20 rupees.
Not nearly as nice as what's there in the vanilla game.
Yes, that is one of the 300 rupee bundles in the vanilla game.
And Smite's taking the dip into Thievestown. I'm a big fan of this play. Like, sure, it's a pendant dungeon, but you have what is necessary to full clear it, and you're already here.
Yeah, and there are 4 items in here too, so again, nice possibility for a progression item to show up.
Well, so now that we know what all of the pendants are, what do you think? What, like, if there is pedestal hype here, what do you think it could be?
Well, we know for sure it can't be the fire rod and it can't be the bow. So we know that those two are off the table. And like it usually is, that means that lamp would be off the table as well, since you have to get through Eastern. Ice Rod could be there. Canis Samaria could be there. Maybe. I'm actually wondering. Could we see maybe Titansmith there? That'd be a very bad one to be at the pedestal, I think.
Ooh, Titan. That would be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It'd have to be a very, very specific set of circumstances. Any items you need for the pendant dungeons can't be behind Titansmith locations, but yeah, it can definitely happen, and it's not a good item you want to be behind there.
So the other half of that question is, what do you think's there? No cop-out answer of 20 rupees, because it's always 20 rupees.
I'm just gonna stick it with Titansmith.
Stick with Titansmith.
I want to see that. I really want to see that.
See, I'm a big fan of the paradox. I like seeing book on pedestal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that too.
Ooh, Smite's going to need to be a little bit careful up here in Thieves Town. He may have the red mail, but stuff still hurts in the Dark World.
Yes, especially with that bullet blind fight with lots of projectiles coming right at you during the whole fight. Fire Rod cannot be on the pedestal because Skullwoods is a pendant, since you need the Fire Rod to complete that.
I believe that's marked incorrectly on our tracker at the moment. Maybe? I don't know. It's kind of hard to read the tracker on this.
Serberoth also making the play to go to Dark World.
Oh, tracker's up to date. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm actually not sure what the bunny sprite for Zelda is. That'd be kind of interesting to see. I wonder if it's Sheik, because that would be pretty epic.
That would be really cool. I feel like I have seen it before, and it's not that. I actually want to say I think it is another bunny, just like a different colored bunny.
Oh, and it looks like the other 5-6 is Ice Palace, not Misery Mire.
Okay, there we go.
So we do have a lamp here from Smight, so no more dark rooms necessary for them.
That is a nice item to have, although technically not required, because you can beat the game without the lamp. Yeah, a lot of very experienced players know dark rooms, but it's definitely a hard thing for people to learn, so always good to find that lamp, just so you don't have to deal with any of that.
And Serberoth did not have enough money to do the chest game. That is never a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely not.
Cane of Burna making short work of Blind and getting the Bombos medallion for his troubles.
Bombos is one of those medallions you do like to see, because even though Fire Rod seems a little more practical for the Ice Palace, you can get through the Ice Palace with the Bombos medallion. And if anything, I find that it consumes less magic overall through the whole journey using Bombos and Ice Palace.
It also opens up the idea that Fire Rod is in Ice Palace, which
That
is
is-
always just evil.
Yeah, that is also very true.
Looks like Smite's going to check a couple more overworld locations, and I'm guessing probably dip into Skullwoods, do the front half.
Yeah, that looks like that could be the play, and yep, I think you are correct.
Clifford said better in Ice Palace than Turtle Rock. That is true. I've heard tell of a seed that where the fire rod was on Laser Bridge and the ice rod was behind the Four Torches room.
That is just terrible. That's terrible.
So you were supposed to go in Turtle Rock without either one of the rods.
That's another scenario that I just really would like to see on Race at some point.
So if things keep going the way they're going, I have to give this, like, Smite has a pretty sizable lead here. Like, Serberoth's going to have to make some different plays. Like, right now he's just following in Smite's footsteps.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Also, just having control over his bomb count, getting that sword early so he can make a much smoother trip through Hyrule Castle. Yeah, I'd say he's definitely ahead. Definitely, it's not a he's going to win no matter what scenario, but yeah, Serberoth will have to make some interesting gambles to really put some distance in.
But once again, like, it appears to be a theme here where our runners are running out of bombs because Smite had to save and quit out of
Ooh.
Skullwoods because he ran out of bombs.
Oh, you hate that.
It's not honestly not something that comes up overly often.
Yeah, like I mean, like I said earlier, you generally find bombs in dungeon locations. You can find them from enemy drops.
You can find them from random chests that have 3 blueberries in them.
That's correct. Yeah, so our runners must have just gotten very unlucky with this particular seed, especially with enemy drops, I guess.
Looks like Smite is going to check out the Hype Cave. We'll see if it lives up to its former glory.
Yes, in older versions, this cave was just the best cave ever. These days, I hear a lot of people calling this trash cave.
Well, we have some flippers, so that's at least one hype item.
Yeah, that is. Just
Nothing
the flippers,
else.
though. And when they've technically, since we've technically already seen like the Zora items and everything, really the only thing flippers can point to is Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, but we don't even have like all the items to even properly access those locations yet, which is kind of a shame.
Looks like Smite's gonna go check see what's on the pyramid ledge. I wouldn't be surprised if they routed over to do Catfish from here as well.
Yeah, Catfish is generally a location that's pretty out of the way as far as distance between other things. But when you're over here, this is usually like the best chance for you to go over and check that.
Just a little bit of love hiding on the pyramid. Like, at least they're getting a decent amount of, like, this is a fairly healthy seed so far. None of this 5 heart dipping into dungeons already, and
yeah, it's very healthy. Plus, they have that red mail too, so deaths won't happen terribly often. But I can understand a potential pain they might be having, where it's just like we want some progression items. We want to go do things.
Smight using the rarely used Dark World Witch's Hut shop to buy a red potion. Safety.
Not a bad
first.
idea. You know,
As Serberoth goes into Fighter Sword blind. Let's see what the Quakefish has for us today.
Ooh. Giving his fish brother some love with the Pegasus boots. That's a nice speedy item to get.
Going out of the way to get the speed. Like, whew, that's really out of the way, but it's so useful.
Yeah, and with Desert being a crystal, there's a good possibility that the boots would be required too, so definitely feeling good that he got that, probably.
As everybody posts Smite's boot emotes into the chat.
That's true with the boots. That is potentially pointing at the Bonk Rocks next to Sanctuary, but I can understand wanting to check Pod first since there are technically more items available here.
I wouldn't be a huge fan of checking the Bonk Rocks yet, because like, can you even get to King's Tomb without either the Mirror or the Titan's Mitts?
That is a fair point. You cannot get there, so yeah.
Like, it's one location. Like, I would definitely wait until you can get at least two out of those three. So you'd want the Titan's Mitts. And Serberoth is once again realizing he's out of money. That's a problem.
Yeah, the Hyrule economy is just not doing very well in this particular seed, so just very.
He's going digging.
It's like, fine, I'll do the digging game myself.
Well, and Pod is hard bow locked, but he found himself a hook shot in that first chest.
That is good. That'll give him access to some more stuff on Death Mountain here, so that could have been the progression he needs.
That's exactly where he's going right now, although is he going to go do Spike Cave first?
Well, he does have a potion. So
he also has the cane.
That's true. So yeah, Spike Cave is probably a good check first.
Serberoth making his way over to get his flippers. So how interesting do you think it would be if the different sprites like started out with different items? Like if the Zora started out with the flippers, because it's a Zora and it can swim.
It's an interesting idea. It would definitely change the meta a lot for this particular randomizer, but yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know if I'm in favor of it though.
It would be just like anything else. You could min-max it now. Smight getting trolled really hard by these dead rocks.
Yeah, I hate those guys so much. But yeah, with your scenario, would that mean Link would just automatically start with the Master Sword, the normal Link sprite, and
yeah, exactly. That would be totally fair, right? Need to make a Sonic sprite. Starts out with the boots. That would probably be the one that everybody wants to use because boots are OP.
Yeah, you may want to rethink this idea for a bit, but it's cool. I like the fresh thinking.
Yeah, Smight doing the New World Hype Cave, which is the one on Death Mountain.
Magic Cape.
Well, you know what Magic Cave screams? It screams Aga 1. Too bad we're too late for that.
Yeah, Aghanim 1 is kind of off the table at this point. I mean, if they want to do it, just for old time's sake, they can, but it would be a bit of a time waste at this point.
Serberoth is making a very good play up here to go get his boots. Well, we're up here. Smight might as well go clear out Tower of Hera.
Definitely a good play.
Ooh, we have the blue rod. Necessary, but not nearly as useful as the red rod.
Yeah, the only progression the Ice Rod can do is beating Trinex, but unfortunately we can't even get to Trinex right now, so... But still, it's good to have that now as opposed to searching the entire world for it, since it can literally be anywhere.
Smight making quick work of those. I'm not even sure the name of those enemies. All I know is you can't actually hurt them with any weapon with bombs.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah, DT. Swamp or Thief Sound is complete by both runners.
Yes.
It's okay, DT. You're doing fine. Like tracking, everybody thinks it is the easiest thing in the world. It's a lot harder than it looks because you have to actually pay attention to everything.
Yeah, and kudos to the racers or the trackers who have to do the quad races, because those can be brutal.
Oh, and Smight takes one fall to Trolldorm. Score currently 1-0.
Now, one thing Serberoth is probably doing right here is going to check the Bonk Rock, which we talked about earlier. It's just one location over here, but if this actually gives him something, that could be huge.
And Smight evens up the score with Trolldorm, and that is the way the score ends. We also have gotten both of the items out of Hera, so no long tiled room cutscene required.
And unfortunately, the Bonk Rocks only yielded 20 rupees, so Serb is going to have to look elsewhere for some progression.
So what are the major items we're missing to finish, to like open up a lot more locations? The only one I can think of that would open up a lot are those Titans myths.
Titans myths, I'd almost argue that Mirror is a big item because there's a lot of overworld locations there. Yeah, I'd say those are definitely the big two. We get the mushroom in Spiral Cave.
Fetch quests. Everybody loves a good fetch quest.
And I think he is immediately going to check and see what that is. Not a bad call, especially when you have that flute that goes right there.
Having some difficulties and getting a little text box there. That happens.
There are some NPCs in the game that'll actually have some written out text. I think it'd be cool to, at some point, give every character in the game some sort of flavor text.
I believe they are working on that. Slowly but surely, they're erasing all of the unnecessary text from this game. Like, I tried to do an NMG run the other day, and there was so much text that it drove me insane. I couldn't even finish it.
Unfortunately, we just got some explosives from the witch.
Smight making the play on Aga. Nope, going into the back. Darn.
I think this could be something, though, so this might be a good call. Meanwhile, Serb is going through Eastern Palace. Unfortunately, we saw earlier there's not a whole lot here, but getting this check-in now just so he won't have to think about it later.
Lumberjacks was a piece of heart, I believe. It was nothing useful. So they don't actually need to do Aga 1, but, you know, and they should know that, but maybe they don't.
I'd like to see a runner at some point, like, they get through the seed really fast, and then just for fun, to show off, they just go ahead and beat Aghanim before beating Ganon.
I mean, at that point in time, it's not that far out of the way even. You're already at the tower, it's got a mirror back, and...
Exactly. Once you beat Aga, you get right back on top of the pyramid, so...
Yeah, our runners are running out of locations.
Pun totally intended.
Actually, pun not intended, but that's a good one.
Oh, that's right. We have not seen Agana Cave yet because Serb did not have any bombs.
Yeah, that is very true. I didn't think of that. Like they can't get into any more dungeons because they don't have the Titan's mitts or the mirror. Did Smight already get both of the? No, Smite's going back into Skullwoods. It looks like because he didn't find all the items there. Because as usual, he ran out of bombs.
What if Smight, as the second item, got the bow? Then he had to go over to Eastern Palace, beat Armos Knight, and one of the two items was the Fire Rod. That would lead this into the pedestal seed of that Titan's Mitt we talked about earlier.
That's evil. That's just evil.
This still has one chest to check, though, so we'll see.
Ooh, and I didn't catch where from, but Serberoth took a death somewhere.
Seemed like it was in a dark room or near the dark room.
Smight making good use of the Ice Rod. It's a lesser-known use of actually freezing the enemies in place.
Yeah, sometimes it's best just to get those guys on ice and just make sure they don't bother you while you're doing this. Also, I've seen this happen before. Yeah, for some reason... there we go.
That was interesting.
Yeah, if you step on that button, for some reason you can't grab that statue. There's the mitts. Okay, a shorthand version of my scenario, but we do have the mitts now.
That's so much faster than yours, though.
I know. I wanted that scenario too, man. I really did, but maybe another race.
So, from here, where do you go? Do you do Dark World, Overworld checks? You know, the Smiths, stuff like that?
I would personally use this time, especially since you have to do both of them, to check the Meyer tablets, or not Meyer tablet, the Meyer medallion requirement, and even the Turtle Rock requirement. That way you get all of the Dark World Death Mountain locations out of the way, the Meyer Shed location out of the way, and who knows, you might find some items while you're checking those and gathering further intel on what you need to do.
See, personally, I like the play here. Like, it's either go do this. I think he's just going to go grab the Smith and return the Smith first, and then probably do a little bit more dungeon, because he doesn't have the mirror, so this is going to take some time.
Or he's going to check Digging Game first, which I don't think we've seen this, because I don't think Serb was finding any money, and Serb takes another... I think that could have been intentional, though. Just a blue rupee.
I think Serb is putting off going into Skullwoods, and I do not blame them. Going into Skullwoods with just the fighter sword is not the greatest idea, although you know you can't clear it.
Yeah, I understand, but there's also the meme going around that, like, 90% of all V26 seeds have something in Skullwoods, so I'd rather just check it to get it out of the way, if anything.
So for those people who are just joining us, this is a secondary tournament race between Smight and Serberoth. Smight is currently 1-0 in Group D, and Serberoth is 0-2. Where we're at right now is we are looking to find the Fire Rod, the Bow, the Cane of Samaria, and whatever medallions are required to open up Mire and Turtle Rock.
It could even be Bombos, the medallion they already have.
Right now, Serberoth's going back in there and getting the stuff out of his own chest that he forgot to get before because he ran out of bombs here.
And he will pick up his 50 rupees that he left behind.
Nope, and Smight triggers the guards. The creeper is here. That Death Warp is going to take a long time, Serberoth. I don't know if it's worth the time investment.
Yeah, I think at that point, save and quit would probably be faster.
Especially with the red mail.
Okay, Smite doing potentially what I suggested earlier, checking out the Mire area. We'll see what the medallion requirement is, and also get 2 more chests inside this lovely little shed here. It looked like that was Bombos.
That was definitely Bombos. He can go in if he would like. It's a scary place to be. Can't complete it. Only have the fighter sword, but it is an option.
The way I like to justify it is technically, like, it does take a while to get through that second room of Misery Mire, but really, like, once you have all the items, you can pretty much leave, and if you have to come back, in this case he will, he can just come back and very quickly clear it since you'll have the big key by that point. But yeah, it could be a time sink, but he may also find the cane in here too, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, this is one of, like, I don't know how I feel about this one. Personally, I would probably head up to Turtle Rock area first, but this is definitely one of the options, and he was already here.
And if he does find that cane, it's going to be a very, very quick clear.
I don't know if I'd call it quick with the fighter sword.
True point. Fair point.
Hammer Vitreous, anyone? Like, what would you even use to kill the eyeballs? I think your best bet with his current loadout is bombs.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, can the hammer hit the eyeballs?
The hammer can, but aiming the hammer going up and down is not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, that's true. He does get the Master Sword. He could use the strats that I used to love when I first started doing this, the dash strats on the eyeballs. And he does have green potions, so he could do that with the cane or the cape, since I think he has both of those at this point.
Well, either way, I would not be excited to face Vitreous with this loadout of gear.
Oh no, it'd be a rough fight for sure.
Oh, geez.
Hey!
And he is put to the question, does he want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a very tough call. Oh, boy.
I know that I would be clearing everything except for Vitreous and getting the heck out of there.
We'll have to see what he does. I think he's still looking for another item, or is he just looking for the big key now?
He's looking for another item and the big key. He hasn't found an item yet,
Okay.
I believe. But but I would not be interested in that at all.
Could find the bow, though. We'll see.
No, DT, I say that regardless. If even there was Master Sword instead of Fighter Sword, I'd be down. But or the bow, obviously. But oh man. Like, if the second item in here is something that makes it a little bit easier for me to do it, then I'm in.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I definitely see where what RM Raziel is saying in chat. Like, you are here. It just seems like such a time waste to leave, but I mean, I understand the dilemma for sure.
That loss, it says nothing, never doing Hammer Vitreous.
Because, like, that's the thing, though. Like, what if that is the progression? Like, what if they're telling you you have to do this? Like, you may as well just do it if you're here and can.
I would probably give it one go. Like, I would give it one attempt, and if I died, I'd peace.
Okay, well, I'll meet you halfway there on that one.
And of course, Vitreous has the item, so...
Let's do this! Let's do this, guys! Let's do this!
Meanwhile, while we're all talking about this, Serberoth is making his way over to the Palace of Darkness. He's going to pick up his bow-locked hookshot if he can make it there with Kiki.
Yeah, if you get hit while you're taking Kiki to the Darkness Palace, he will run away. You also have to repay the 10 rupees as well, so kind of, yeah, you do. So kind of an annoying little thing.
Not the worst thing in the world.
I can't wait for this fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm actually kind of hyped for it, but I feel sorry for Smight having to do it.
I'm wondering if Serberoth, after he gets the hookshot here, if he's going to go back to Death Mountain and maybe... Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have the Titan's Mitt yet, so you have to get that first, but... Really interested to see what he's going to do after this. Okay, here we go, guys. Here we go.
We got Cape Strats. Now he's out of magic, so what does he switch to? The Hammer Strats. Oh, this is so scary.
Did he already use that green potion he had?
He did not.
As you can see, normal fighter sword strikes will not work. You have to do the spin attack if you want the damage to go through.
One eyeball down. Looks like Serberoth is going to show us some... Or no, he doesn't have the Titan's Mitt, so we have seen all of this. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and Smight takes
the death.
The question is, does he go back in or no? And holy cow, that death sprite. Yeah, he's piecing right out. I do not blame him in the slightest.
Yeah, I guess. I guess this way you could potentially maybe get some more health or again, just a better weapon to use in general, but
I don't think it's the health that's the problem. I think it's the weapon.
yeah. I know. I just really want to see that be a progression.
This is the next play. Another dungeon that's a pain in the butt to clear with Fighter Sword.
Yeah, I don't really know about this play. I honestly would have probably checked Dark Death Mountain first just to see what the medallion is, and then I think there's just more chests in general up there.
But at the same time, you got to think we're an hour into this seed, and he is like, this is all the items he had. He's got to be thinking he might be behind.
That's true, yeah.
Like, we know that he's not behind, but you can't know that being this far in.
Yeah, you really don't know anything.
Like, at least he has the hook shot to kill these guys very quickly.
Yeah. That was one of the greatest things I learned about this dungeon later on in life when I found out, oh, the hook shot just kills these in one shot. I wish I would have known that when I was a child and I struggled with these penguins.
Oh, the penguins were so evil.
And yeah, Smight did get the cane out of his trip to Misery Mire, so he's not leaving empty-handed for sure.
Yeah, Serberoth is clearing out this. I'm guessing he's going to head up to Hera as well and finish that off. Well, so now we know what was up on the ledge. It was half magic, which is
not a bad item to be up there.
Item.
Yeah, it would help during Fighter Sword Cape Strats Vitcherous, that's for sure.
Yes, it sure would. Got the bonks or the bomb strats on this room full of penguins. Gets it flawlessly. I like that strat a lot.
Yeah, that's probably one of the newest strats I've learned from watching other runners, and I love doing it as well. It just looks so cool.
It's always curious to me to see how all the different runners route this dungeon, because there's so many different ways you can do it.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on your equipment, you kind of have to do it in certain ways, like the hook shot thing right here. Sometimes you may not have the hook shot, and you have to kind of go a more roundabout way to get these other chests, and just hope that you get a key before then.
Get to see if we have anything interesting here. I still want to see. I'd love to see the fire rod in here. That is my favorite location for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Serberoth going to pick up his ice rod. I'm sure he's probably relieved to see that there.
Quake medallion. Don't know if it's required yet, but it could be the medallion for Turtle Rock.
We also have the big key, so like that is the worst thing I've ever seen Ice Palace do, is put the big key on Cold Stare, so you have to go back. Oh well, now we don't have to worry about the requirement for Turtle Rock, since we now have Ether as well.
Yep, all 3 medallions are acquired now.
Rayfin, are you sure you're not a witch? You called out Ether first before we already had seen it.
He was just reading ahead in the script. It's okay.
The big key can't be on Cold Stare? Oh, that would be very evil.
Yeah, it can't be because you needed to get through that one door, and the bomb jump is considered a sequence break by logic.
Yes. Smite's gonna go. I think he's gonna go pick up the fairy refill up here.
I think there's still one chest he has to look for too. He might be one. Oh no. Okay, you're right, fairy.
No, I think he got all the chests. I think the last item or the last thing is at Cold Stare.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Or did he do the room with the 2 jellies on it? I might have missed that room.
Yeah, because I don't think he did, but I get. Because I thought he went north from the spike ball room to go for those 3 chests, and then he came back around, did the other 2, and now he's here.
Yeah, he did miss a chest. I wonder if he's counting. I'm assuming he's counting items. So it looks like it's a 50-50 because I don't see a compass in his inventory.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Although, probably not as bad as, well, I don't know. Fighter Sword Cold Stare.
Personally, I'd use the hammer instead of spin attacks on Cold Stare, but that's me.
Yeah, like, I think this fight is probably easier than Vitreous with Fighter Sword, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. Since you can't hit it straight up.
Looks like Serberoth has cleared out Tower of Hera while we were watching this exciting Fighter Sword Cold Stare. Turning in the mushroom. Yeah, and Smight finish off the fight with the hammer.
And Cold Stare is down. We'll see if he drops that last item. He doesn't. There is still one more chest in Ice Palace.
There's one more chest in Ice Palace, but Picky said that there were, or no, Slotted said there were 3 items found in Ice Palace, which is all of them. So
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
that makes it a small key.
Right.
Looks like Smight is finally making his way up to Dark Death Mountain. Probably going to clear all of this, and then head into Turtle Rock, is my guess.
That's right. He does have the capability of entering there. I'm still calling that the Fighter Sword Vitreous is the progression, though. So I'm not going to get off of that.
You are an evil, evil man.
Hey, they took away my dream of Titan Smith at the pedestal. I'm going to take what I can get.
I mean, it is little known, but the Fire Rod can actually be in Turtle Rock, assuming the keys line up correctly.
That is correct. Okay, looks like Ether is the medallion for Turtle Rock. I think that Serberoth's got to be thinking about entering Skull Woods now to finally get that Titan Smith.
Yeah, we know that's where he has to go, but like it's kind of out of the way, and he probably feels a little strange for getting it this long.
Okay, still nothing on Dark Death Mountain yet. We still have 4 more chests, though, in Hookshot Cave.
just some more bomb. You can carry a lot of bombs now, which is more than you ever need.
There's the bow.
We have the bow, so you needed to go into pod to get the hook shot, to go back to get the bow, to go back into pod.
Yep. Rip fighter sword. I mean, I guess he'll have fighter sword still, but
But bow vitreous is so much easier than fighter sword.
It is. But first, Smite's going to be taking on Palace of Darkness, which is understandable. 5 items in pod, and he can now actually get in further in this dungeon. So,
well, 4 more items in pod.
Oh, right, you're right. Yeah, hookshot was already one of those.
Like, this is still kind of a chore doing pod without the mirror, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
That just means the mirror could be in here, so...
Looks like he stopped to pick up Kiki, but Kiki is already there. Already done his thing.
Serberoth having some trouble with the bomb jump here.
He picked up the bomb and it disappeared. That was interesting.
He's just keeping bomb storage for later.
It doesn't appear that Serberoth knows how to set up this bomb jump very well. Like, I know Serberoth mostly play... Like, I know of him from Super Metroid Randomizer. Like, it could be that he's kind of newer to the Link to the Past. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with taking the vanilla way back there.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't take too long. Honestly, sometimes, like, I don't even do the bomb jump. Sometimes I use the hook shot if I have it in that previous room and just kind of hook shot up there to the pots and then just go the normal way. It's not too much slower, really.
Meanwhile, Smight is collecting all of the keys. I've heard Palace of Darkness referred to as the Mullet Dungeon. It's all business in the front and party in the back.
Yes, I have definitely heard that as well. And it's very true, honestly. I mean, we did have the hook shot in the front, but yeah, normally, like, be expected to get a lot of keys when you start out going through this dungeon.
So I think it is still possible that Serberoth can catch up in this. He needs to go straight from here after getting these Titans mitts straight up to Hookshot Cave.
That is correct. While Smite has definitely gone to a lot more dungeons and locations, really, he's only gotten the Cane of Samaria at this point, in addition to the bow, obviously. Like, we'll get the Cane of Samaria whenever Serberoth does go to Misery Mire, so it's not too much out of the way.
He also has to be willing to go into Misery Mire without the Cane of Samaria, which a lot of runners do not want to do that. That is like their last option.
Mm-hmm. Master Sword.
It's about dang time.
Yeah, Smite is probably very happy to see that right now.
Oh, gee, there's all the swords. Oh, man.
Oh, maybe Vitreous does have something. Just have to get all the swords from here first.
And Serberoth has picked up his Titan's mitts and is on his way back onto the progression.
All right. Yes, the Palace of Swordness. I like that.
Is that like the Throne of Swords?
Yes, we'll go with that.
I was trying to make a Game of Thrones reference, and I think it fell really short because I don't watch that show.
I don't watch it either, actually, so it's fun.
DT making the solid puns, Command to Pod being a sharp play.
Yeah, yeah. Smight does pick up the powder, though, from Palace of Darkness, too, so good safety, and it also opens up another item location.
Smight was attempted a Death Warp. This is the point when Red Mail is kind of a liability, having to walk all the way back through here.
Oh no, I just can't die. My run is over.
Hey, at least they have the boots, so it is an actual run, not a walk.
Yeah. Ooh, that dead rock being annoying for Serb as well. And Serb is on Death Mountain, by the way, so he is going to get the bow very, very soon. So he'll be pretty much in the same progression that Smight is.
Like, the biggest lead that Smight has right now is the fact that they've already cleared Ice Palace.
Yes. Serb trying to get the hook shot clip on that block. Doesn't succeed, but still have to go the long way around.
It is a pretty big lead for Smight here. It's definitely his race to lose. But that being said, a lot of things can happen when it comes to the end of this game. Because we're not in go mode yet. There's still items to be found, and they could be in some really out of the way locations.
Yeah, it could come down to a potential Turtle Rock gamble for Fire Rod for Serb, while Smight decides to check all of the overworld items that Serb has already checked. So yeah, there are plenty of things that could still happen.
Serb is now realizing that he needs to find the Harry Potter medallion to get in there.
Well, he's going to have to go to a very chill place if he wants to pick that up.
Well, while I'm ignoring that, Serberoth picks up his bow, and Smight is making short work of Helmasaur. Like, Tempered Sword makes this much simpler.
Yeah, for sure. Mirror is required, Socialized Medicine, because...
And speaking of the mirror, that is what Helmasaur had.
Wow,
so one
nice.
less item we need to go find.
Now here's a question. Do you think it'd be a good idea to go to Swamp next and full clear that? Because even though Swamp does have the most dungeon items with 6, I find that also gives it a high probability for not a lot to be in there, and a lot of players tend to prefer to do that in go mode.
See, I would head over to Desert Palace first, because with the mirror now they can access that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can agree with
and that is a very quick clear. There's 2 items in there, and this is an interesting choice. He's taken the bet that it's either in one of these 2 item locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess if he does do Desert very soon, he can also go back to Mire and finish up Vistrius too, so that would not be a bad play at all.
Yeah, this green pendant play is interesting. It would be kind of a gamble to leave it from here, and you're already over here. You don't want to have to reroute and backtrack. So you're already here, might as well get it out of the way.
Yeah, potentially banking on the fact that, well, this could be a pedestal seed still.
It could be a pedestal seed plus this, or no, it cannot be a pedestal seed anymore.
Oh,
'Cause The
right.
only thing we're missing is Fire Rod.
Oh, wow, we're really that close to go mode? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, once we found the bow, everything just clicked into place.
Okay, then. Awesome. Question is, though, where is that fire rod going to be? Because there are a lot of possible locations now.
Laser Bridge.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Laser Bridge is probably the trolliest location it can be at this point.
Now, if you think about it, if Fire Rod was on Vitreous, Smight could have been in go mode a little earlier if he did
Oh,
Fighter Sword
God.
Vitreous. Bugnet.
Swaghanim activated.
Okay, we have to go back and do Aghanim now.
No. You can do Swaghanim on Aghanim too. It's fine.
I'd rather say it on Aghanim 1.
Serberoth visiting the rarely visited fountain, fairy fountain in Palace of Darkness. I didn't even know that was there.
You never thought that crack in the wall was suspicious at all, or?
I knew it was something. I just didn't know what.
And with fairies in there, I thought you would have been kind of drawn to that a little bit.
You'd think that knowing my nickname, but I don't know. I guess I don't know all of the fairy locations yet. I should probably learn them.
I actually used to think there was like a fairy location in every dungeon, but I don't think there's one in Thieves Town. I don't think there's one in Swamp Palace.
I think there is one in Swamp Palace.
Oh, really?
Like I know where a lot of them are. I don't know. Is there one in Desert?
Yes, north of the left entrance of the first part.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah, I guess there are some locations that have like pots and like health recovery and stuff like that.
Smite's gonna go here and like I can finally do this. This is going to be so much easier than the last time I was here.
Yeah, he has the bow, he has the tempered sword. It's going to be a lot easier, no matter what strat he decides to use.
Oh no, Serberoth ran out of bombs again. That's a problem. You know,
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a runner run like 2 runners run out of bombs as much as these guys have.
Well, he got a bomb from that turtle right there, so that's a relief. Frustration pulls on the railing there. I can understand that.
So what's your preferred way to vent your frustration? Pulls or slashes?
Pulls.
Personally, I'm a fan of frustration bombs, but when you don't have any bombs, it's kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. I like frustration bombs too. I also just like releasing the Quake medallion sometimes if I have a inconvenient occurrence.
Now with Fighter Sword, these spins not Fighter Sword with a Magic Cape and Tempered Sword, these eyeballs are going to melt compared to the last time we were in here.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be so much smoother.
And somebody's asking in chat, oh my gosh, it's the Fire Rod. I think we have a witch here on the commentary team.
If only he did Fighter Sword Vitreous earlier. That is great, though. That's going to mean Go Mode Swamp. That's going to mean, well, Desert's not too long anyway, but that's going to be also a very quick clear.
Yeah.
It's going to be just so much faster now.
So we have our first player in Go mode. Like, Fire Rod for Go mode item is interesting. That's an interesting one to find. Usually it's the other rod, but different times call for different measures. He has to clear desert because it is a crystal dungeon.
Yes, it is one of these 7 crystals, so... Mirror was on Helmasaur, I believe.
Yep, the mirror was on Helmasaur, one of the more annoying locations for it. Because you really want a mirror when you're clearing that dungeon.
Now, this is usually the point in a V26 run where I finally hit Go mode, and I still have a little bit to clear, and Smight does have a little bit to clear. I kind of wonder, will I break the 2-hour mark? Because version 26, it's usually not too surprising to have a run over 2 hours just because the item randomization can be really, really out there. And I think at this point, Smite's chances are actually pretty good, especially with that Go Mode Swamp coming up, which will be very short and just very clean to look at.
Yeah, it's going to be very quick. Make very quick work of that. Like, the question is, do you open chests that are not on the way looking for silver arrows?
Yeah, that is one thing. I mean, it's definitely not required. A lot of runners know how to do Silver scanning, but since we are in kind of the secondary tournament where you'd expect, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, but like you'd expect like strats like that to not be as well known, but there's still a lot of people who know they're Silverless. But yeah, I can see definitely some chest checks in the future, and worst case scenario, they can always use the Ganon text at the very end to figure out where the silvers are if they need them. And chat is confirming that Smite should be fine with Silverless, so...
I figured he probably would be, but it's always a question. Like,
yeah,
you
exactly.
check the couple of chests in Swamp Palace that aren't out of the way, just on the off chance they're there, because they do make the final fight with Ganon go a lot quicker.
Sometimes you'll find the silvers in that one waterfall room chest, and that's just like right there on your way to Argus, so sometimes not a bad place just to even open 1 or 2 chests, because you might find it, you might find something.
And I actually learned today that in the logic for the game, if you go, like, they have a thing where you can go, you're supposed to go here to get that, and there, the silvers are always required by the logic to beat the game.
That is correct, they are. And yeah, chat, there's definitely a huge difference between Tempered Silverless and Master Sword Silverless, so for Master Sword, I could definitely see them going out of their way to maybe look for even more chests, but or even a better sword for that matter. But yeah, with Tempered, it's usually not too bad to learn Silverless.
Yeah, Tempered, not too bad. Serberoth on their way up to Helmasaur, get the mirror.
It will be definitely interesting to see what Serb does with his next play, because he obviously still has Ice Palace to do, and you know, we know that the Cane of Samaria and the Fire Rod are in Misery Mire, so it's like wondering when exactly will he hit that location to check those items and maybe gamble if they are there.
Personally, I'd probably go to Misery Mire before I go into Ice Palace at this point. But I think both of them are very valid options. I think he's done all of the overworld stuff.
That's true, he has. He's done a lot of overworld. And yeah, as you can see on Smite's side, all you have to do is grab that key on the right, hook shot over here, and you're pretty close to the end. You don't have to worry about any of that left side stuff at all. As Serberoth picks up his mirror.
Wait. Swamp has a left side? I didn't know that.
Very
I
funny.
thought everybody skipped it.
Everybody wants to skip it in all instances, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, it looks like Smight is going to check the chests that are not out of the way. Like that one's right there. Might as well just check it. If it has the silvers, you saved a bunch of time. If it doesn't have the silvers, it didn't cost you a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I believe it was in like the third qualifier where I was in go mode at that point, and I did check that chest, and the silvers were in there, and it just like, okay, well, this is going to speed up my time even more.
Tempered Sword making quick work of these puffballs outside of Argus here.
And with 2 spins, Argus is down. He's going to grab just the map, and I think he'll be on his way to Turtle Rock now. Unfortunately, just 10 arrows.
Looks like Serberoth is making the correct play and going right in here.
Serb is going to be very, very happy to see that cane in here, and even more happy to see that fire rod at the very end of the dungeon.
Yeah, Smight is not forgetting to pick up the potions before heading up the mountain. I can think of certain runners in the main who may have died to Trinex because they didn't have potions and had to go and buy some. Oops.
Yeah, Trinex can be a bit of a troll boss at times. Does a lot of damage. Even with Red Mail, you can't let that fight get too out of control, especially with the ice floor that you could be dealing with. So, never a bad idea to have some potions just on the off chance that things go a little south.
Serberoth makes their way through Misery Mire.
Oh, chat pointing out that Smite did not pick up the half magic that's on the floating island in Death Mountain. Honestly, he probably will be fine without it, but yeah, that probably skipping that safety, as you mentioned before, he might not be sure if he's actually in the lead or not, especially after doing the double dip in Mire, so I can kind of understand the play there.
Yeah, my guess is if they were still on the Master Sword, I can see them going to pick up the half magic because it makes like Master Sword Silver Scanning without half magic is not the easiest thing to execute. It's just easier with half magic because you can get a lot more cycles out.
Yeah, for sure. Serberoth will have his Cane of Samaria very, very shortly. It's not this chest, but I believe it's the other one that's blocked by pegs on the left side.
I believe so as well. I believe Smight won't need to check any more locations. He'll be able to go grab the key from the room with the 4 fairies before the vanilla big key, and they should be good to go.
Ooh, be very, very careful with those slugs that have the green bombs. They can do a lot of damage, even with red mail.
I totally thought one of the 2 keys he got in the roller room was the big key. But, you know, he's got it now. It's fine.
Key counting in Turtle Rock, it's a thing.
Serberoth successfully navigating the torches without the fire rod.
Smight checking the other chest over here.
I don't know if I like that play. Oh, he's looks like he's just heading, like that was on the way. There's a full magic.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
That is convenient because the anti-fairies drained him of all of his magic. I can get
Yeah,
behind that.
I can too. That's a very good idea. And he does have a shield now, so don't worry. He will not get affected by arrows anymore if he looks right at the arrow shooters.
Yep, that's definitely a thing we're worried about going into the end of this game is arrows. There's definitely not any fireballs around here.
Nope.
Serberoth is checking some rarely seen locations in Mire.
I actually used to go in that room for the crystal switch so I could check that one chest to the left of the big key early, but yeah, I soon found out that routing that can be done in a better way.
It looks like that's exactly what Serberoth just did, was use the crystal switch.
Okay, so it looks like the last key that Smight will need to get through Turtle Rock will be on the eye bridge.
We get to see if he prefers to use the cane, the cape, or do the actual laser skips. Personally, I'm a fan of the cane myself, but, you know, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely love to learn those laser skips. But the cane always seems to do very nicely.
There's the key. See you later, Laser Bridge.
Okay, so Smight is on his way to Trinex, the final crystal boss. He will be heading to Ganon's Tower very shortly, and looks like that he'll be making some very great time, too.
So we are getting close to that point where we get to play everybody's favorite guessing game in Link to the Past randomizers. There are 22 chest locations in Ganon's Tower. One of them holds a big key. Where do you think it is located? Do you have a preferred chest, Kirby?
Yes, I usually go for the range of 19 through 21. So the Ice Armos room, if you go the typical right side, if you get a key in the first chest path. For this particular run, I will say chest number 20.
See, and I am always a huge fan of the torch key. Are we giving away anything to the people who correctly guess here? I'm not sure if Hervey Durfee's still in stock with his love and affection.
Yeah, I'll have to call him about that. It's in very high demand right now, but we'll see if we can swing something.
And Quizball's asking the question, so I guess I suppose I will repeat the information. This is a match in Group D of the secondary tournament. Smight is currently 1-0, looking most likely to advance to 2-0, and Serberoth is 0-2. Ooh, and Serberoth also takes untimely death to Vitreous.
Yeah, that is very, very unfortunate.
And Smight does find a key and is going straight to the right.
Of course, one answer I'm never surprised to see whenever we do the Ganon's Tower guesses is chest number 22, which was that very long tile room that is to the left of the room Smite is currently in.
See, and in my routing for Ganon's Tower, like in a one-on-one race, when I know that I am most likely behind, that is actually chest number 7 for me.
I can kind of understand that. It's always good to kind of metagame on what you think is currently going on in the race. Sometimes it can pay off for sure. With how close some of these races have been in these tournaments.
Well, right side is a bust. Grab the key and mirror back out. With this seed, I would not be surprised if it was in the tile room.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have 8 as a key, 9 is just some bombs. Oh, 11 down, still nothing.
Come on, chest 20. Although I guess the seed already gave me my fire rod on Vitreous, so I guess I don't need any more wins today. Okay, Serberoth is almost back at Vitreous for the rematch.
Hopefully,
he's going to be very happy to get that fire rod when it's over.
I'm going to check out the rando room. Such named because you never see this room outside of a randomizer run.
Yeah, which is very sensible. It's very out of the way kind of here, especially when you know when the big key is going to be somewhere else.
There
it is.
So I believe that is for 8, 10, 11, 12. That
15?
14? Or no, more than that. I can count, I swear. I think that's 14. Okay, but yeah, I believe that is 15. And we have 0 guesses. There are 15. Nobody won today, guys. Sorry. I guess that means we don't have to figure out what we were giving away.
I guess that's true. Herfy can save a little bit of his love and affection for a future race. And Serb is now making his way through the Desert Palace. Going to be a very quick clear. And probably after this, moving on to Swamp. And if he knows the... oh, well, no, he may not be going Go mode because he still needs the medallion for Turtle Rock.
He does. He does still need the medallion for Turtle Rock. We know it is in Ice Palace.
Yes, it's a commentator in chat Go mode, but for our runners, they're still looking for stuff.
And yes, how Richard B, that was a very solid damage boost to get across the bridge. You just fall off the edge and you just run right across. Smight getting a little bullied around by these Beamos and spikes. Like, the thing about red mail is it doesn't affect anything, any damage dealt by traps.
Yeah, unfortunately, they decided to stick a whole bunch of those traps inside this tower.
Opting to use the sword on the Lammo 2 fight.
I can understand that. Don't want to waste too many arrows, especially if you don't have silvers, and still working with that vanilla magic meter, so... wants to make sure he can still use the Samaria strats in these next 2 rooms, and then also just have enough for the torch room as well.
Yeah, Samaria saves so much time in these Wizrobe rooms. It's always interesting to me to think of how like wimpy the Wizrobes are in this game compared to like the original Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah, they really can get one shot by even the sword beams, which are really like weak attacks. So yeah, the Wizrobes are not very strong defensively.
Yeah, they get killed by anything.
Even the Quake medallion, which I believe a lot of people found very weird because they always kind of suspected the Wizrobes were floating. So. And we have a B-Tort bottle inside Ganon's tower.
And a very convenient health refill right there.
Oh, very convenient. Very convenient.
So, do you think Smight will validate his run?
Honestly, I probably not. Well, I mean, he did go for those other chests, so he might. I mean, he could be looking for silver still, so yeah, he probably will.
I probably would if you don't have silvers. Might as well.
Silvers or even butter sword, for that matter, too. Just anything that can speed it up even a little bit.
I mean, it was arrow related. That counts, right?
Yeah. I don't think it matters too much, though. It's really only the silver ones that Ganon fears.
Doesn't look like we're going to get to see swagging him here. That's a very nice pattern, though. Oh, almost the triple.
Almost the triple, yeah. That was very, very nice. Get kind of unfortunate right there. Almost got the triple there, too.
Those hit too close together, so it's just single.
Yeah.
But one more hit to go, and down goes Aghanim number 2, while Serberoth finishes up Landmo.
Yeah, even without the triples, that was a very nice fight. Sometimes those Aghanim fights can drag on for a really long time.
Yes, we get it, Smite. When you poke the door with the sword, it makes a clingy noise.
He just wanted to share all the Zelda tech with us. It's fine. So as Smight enters the Ganon fight, looks like Serberoth is making the play on Swamp Palace. Let's hope this is not... I mean, it probably will be since he doesn't have that medallion yet, but...
This is almost
so
guarantee to be a full clear.
Yeah. Could find silvers. I mean... may not help in the actual race, but it will definitely speed things up a lot for the rest of the run.
Smite getting bodied by those bats and having to use his safety fairy. That was some really rough bat RNG. Holy cow.
Sometimes those bats can be very weird. Sometimes I find if I hit him, like if I hit Ganon as early as I can, he still sometimes gets those bats out. It's really weird.
Well, those bats were from Phase 2, so we knew we were getting.
Oh, okay, okay.
Well, it looks like Serb is getting his silver arrows because they are in Swamp Palace. Smite doing a fine job executing the silverless Ganon fight.
Yeah, this is going very smooth.
Not taking any chances and using the fire rod, which is fine. Oh, I thought he was going to fall off there. That was close.
Yeah, dancing on the edge there had me worried there for a moment. And Ganon is down.
Ganon is down. Just have to make sure we don't fall off the edge, and we will have it done. So we have a dot done in IRC. Smite is finished at first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 46 seconds. GG.
Yes, Chet. Give all the GGs to Smite. He did a really, really good job with this scene.
Let's see if we can get Smite in here for an interview.
And meanwhile, while we are waiting for him to get in here, very quickly, just want to give a major shout out to the runners for tournament and making this a very enjoyable race to watch. So, yeah, this has been an absolutely amazing race to watch.
It is not the easiest thing to do to put yourself out there in front of, however, I'm not sure how many viewers we have here, but in front of anybody to play a game like this.
For sure, definitely. It's a very, very big undertaking.
The time was 1 hour, 53 minutes, 46 seconds, Rayfin. The Smite appears to have turned off his timer.
And Serberoth as well, actually.
Serberoth hasn't had a timer up the entire run.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did. My bad. There are those silvers in the big chest in the Swamp Palace.
They have been found. So, do you have a guess for how many bonks Smight had over here?
I'm gonna say around. I don't remember seeing him bonk that much. Probably 12. Hello?
I was going to guess about 15. Looks like we have Smight in here with us. GG, sir.
Yes. Yeah, GG. That was an amazing run. Good job.
I thought I broke my my game at the end there, being stupid.
It's fine. You got it.
What did you do?
I used the fire rod right when it ended, and I was stuck in fire rod until I hit fire rod again.
Oh no, that would have not been a good place to soft lock. Or
Yeah,
that actually sounds like a hard lock.
Yeah, you do need to be careful with that sometimes, because yeah, I've definitely had that happen too, where I've used bow at that point, and then yeah, had to reset my game.
So, do you have any thoughts on this seed in general?
I didn't have a bomb, and it really messed me up on the Titan mids, because I would have had them really early.
Another item you actually would have had really early if you tried again was the fire rod on Vitreous. Solid effort on attempting that with Fighter Sword. That was really cool. The chat was really hyped for that.
I was trying to decide if I wanted to use my mana potion on him or save it for ice, because I wanted to do ice, and I thought I should have gone to ice first. But then I found the red cane.
You found the red cane. You're like, well, I'm here. I might as well at least give this at least one shot.
Yeah, I've never done it with Fighter Sword before. That was kind of messy. I kept forgetting I couldn't knock the eyeballs back, but that's...
Yeah, it's a really tough fight.
And
I don't blame you at all.
We know what is on the pedestal. The fourth sword. Vanilla pedestal.
You actually did have only one sword for quite a bit of that run, it seemed like.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness was huge.
Oh yeah, it was very huge. Both of those swords had the mirror at the very end. Yeah, very rewarding dungeon.
Yeah, like all of the items in pod were good. Like I think there was just one blank because you had the hook shot, you had the two swords, you had the mirror. Like that is just evil though, putting the hook shot there, so you have to go up to Death Mountain to go back into pod.
Yeah. I made some really big mistakes. Like at the start, I don't know if you saw, I fluted away when I was trying to bomb Ice Cave. I don't even know how that happened.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that.
I didn't hear the flute play. I didn't think I set it off.
Yeah, sometimes if you are doing other things, you won't hear the sound effects. So yeah, I kind of figured that's probably what happened.
So here's the question: did you think you were behind most of this race?
I don't think anyone else does the stupid things I do very often, like going straight for some of those pendant dungeons I did for no reason. Like I just like to do those dungeons, and if they're pendants, I usually do them anyway. Like
you were ahead for most of this race.
I thought maybe because Skullwoods had the Titan mitts, I probably was ahead.
There was that, and Serberoth had a lot of bomb issues. He ran out of bombs in the mini Moldorm cave, which caused him to miss the sword and the hammer for a while.
I ran out of bombs because of that, and I had to leave Skullwoods early. I felt really stupid because the Titan mitts, I should have grabbed them anyway. I didn't need to leave before getting those. Because I for some reason I thought I could get the big chest without a bomb, so I dropped down there and then I was stuck and I had to leave.
Okay, I can understand that. But yeah, and not just bomb issues. Serberoth, even though they didn't really pay out too much, also had some rupee issues in a few places. Didn't have enough rupees for the chess game when went through Village of Outcasts, and then later when he came back, didn't have enough for the digging game either. So yeah, just little things like that definitely kind of opened the race in your favor. Even having to do the double dip mire didn't really cost you too much either, especially since Serb took a death on Vitreous, unfortunately. So yeah, you just came through with what you could do. Had some pretty nice fighter sword fights. The fighter sword cold stare was also really cool to watch as well.
Yeah, we were wondering.
Mistake I made was I bought a potion, a red potion, for no real reason. I just thought I should, and then I realized I no longer had 500 rupees, so I just didn't ever do that whole thing. I never went up there, but apparently none of them was up there anyway. So
No, I don't think it was anything useful. I can't remember if Serberoth checked it.
I believe Serberoth did. That's why Serberoth was so low on rupees in the Dark World, because he checked that. But yeah, I don't think it was anything important or anything worthwhile.
So it looks like the bonk counter was 18.
Okay, I think I guessed 12, so kind of close. Didn't think there were that many bonks. Another thing that I and the people in the chat noticed was that you did actually opt out of the half magic upgrade. Was that also a decision made because you were kind of wondering if you were behind at that point and didn't think you needed it?
I don't. I had to go back in there to get it again. I would have got it if I had the mirror the first time, but I didn't feel like I needed it that much.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that.
I just bought some blue potions, and that's actually saved my life because I did a horrible one cannon. I did so bad. I was trying to find the silver arrows, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they were in a big key or big chest in Swamp.
I didn't find the big key either.
I don't remember where the big key was. I think you didn't check very many chests in there, so I'm not surprised you didn't find it.
Yeah, it was the last, the last dungeon I did, really, almost.
I believe it was in the floodgate room with the 2 chests that are flooded when you first go down there.
Yeah, I got really lucky because I wanted revenge on Vitreous so bad that I just kind of skipped the dungeon where I thought all the items were, which was Swamp, and then he gave me the fire rod, so I was all set.
Well, you knew you had to go back there anyway to kill him. It's like now I can do this much easier because I have a better sword and the bow.
Yeah, I wanted to do desert too, but
yeah,
it worked out.
Yeah, that was a good play, and yeah, that put you in go mode. So yeah, that was a very good play. Plus, even though Swamp did have silvers, which is obviously a very good item, I tend to find that for Swamp, even though there are 6 chests, it's 1, always better to do that in go mode, and 2, just means there's a higher probability for junk being in there anyway.
Yeah, the dungeon takes a while.
It looks like Serberoth here is avoiding going in the place what we know he needs to go. He's still looking for ether. He does not want to make the dive into Ice Palace. He's checking a bunch of overworld stuff.
I thought they were pulling the Bombos Ice Palace. I wasn't really looking forward to Cold Stare's fight either with that stuff, but I didn't have any trouble at all. I guess I'm getting used to him. I didn't know what to do with Vitreous at all.
Yeah, Cold Stare is relatively simple to do with Fighter Sword and Hammer. But with Vitreous, you can use bombs, which is my preferred method. But like hammering those eyeballs is not easy at all.
How much damage do bombs do?
Same as a sword spin, but you don't have to get up close and personal.
Yeah, that would have been better.
It takes a lot of bombs, though.
We got a whole bunch of money at the start, and then there was no money or bombs at all for the rest of this thing.
Yeah, we definitely noticed that. Because, like we said, Serberoth has been having a lot of bomb and rupee issues as well.
The dude that you pull the bush off of gives fairies. I just couldn't find bombs anywhere. I bought them twice, and I still ran out a bunch.
Yeah, I think that was the same story for Serberoth, too.
Like, I'm trying to figure out where Serberoth's going at the moment. There's some stuff I'm guessing he forgot to check.
Well, that was an unfortunate Dark World bonk on top of the huge Titan's Midstone.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to use that portal. Maybe? Oh, barely.
Okay, he got it, yeah. Yeah, I think at this point he's just trying to check Overworld, but yeah, Ice Palace open, I figured that would just be like the next logical play to go there.
He's rechecking the stuff he didn't have the money for before, so he's doing the digging game now. I think he already went back into the chess game. This might be a while.
Again, once he goes to the Ice Palace, it'll be good because he'll be in go mode at that point.
So where else does he have less check? He can check. Well, he can check the pedestal. Well, he'll be able to check the pedestal once he clears the dungeons. He'll be able to check Eastern and the Green Pendant, which is nothing. So, Smight, what did you think of the lack of shields for this entire game, entire run?
Oh, that's the way I like it. I didn't mean to pick up one. I don't
No
like
unnecessary items.
Yeah. We had a lot of hearts, and I was still having trouble staying alive with some of the things I was trying to do. And
yeah.
there was that chest in the escape that was bothering me because I couldn't see where the rat was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when it comes to like, I think the easiest way to do that with the loadout you had would probably have been to use a Burnicane.
Oh yeah. I'm so used to going the other direction. I would have been able to do it that way, I think. But that way, I wasn't sure where he moved to when you take that long to get around the corner, so I was trying to find him. I killed the other 3.
Yeah, that is honestly, I think, one of the harder dark rooms in the game. Everybody says Myers super hard. Like, Myers not easy, but like finding that key rat in the dark is just a pain.
Yeah, a lot of people like having like a medallion or something for that room just so they can just get the rat out of the way and just kind of just like move around until they get the key.
It looked like you had a lot of support in the chat, though, Smight. Like, a lot of your subs were in here, spamming emotes. And
I got really stupid emotes for this game.
They were definitely entertaining, to be sure.
I forgot to check King's Tomb and curious what's in these plays. I kept thinking I would do it later, and I never needed to.
Yep, there they are. Here they come. All the emotes.
Well, they unlocked the like a couple months ago. They just decided to give us like 10 emotes each when we had the X number of subs. So I had like all these emote slots, and I was playing this at the time. So we just drew like 10 of them in 5 minutes and uploaded them all.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of big 20s in the chat during the race.
So what did you think of the super early red mail? Not having to worry about taking damage is a double-edged sword when you want a death warp.
Yeah, I did actually want to die once in the Palace of Darkness, and I couldn't. I forgot that even bombs don't do any damage. But I mean, I don't mind having that, of course, but I would rather have had one of the other things that took me a while to find. It took me a while to find Titan mitts, or the power gloves, I mean.
I don't remember where the power gloves were. Like, I remember they were relatively early.
Moon Pearl was the last thing I found to get to the Dark World. It was up on the mountain, and I just didn't go up there. So I felt like I was losing at that point because I went into Eastern for some reason instead, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, I believe it was actually a case where I want to say that Serb actually did have Dark World access before you did, because Serb went up to Death Mountain as soon as possible and got that Moon Pearl very, very early. But I think that Serb was still checking some other overworld locations, so you still got the Dark World first. But yeah, very interesting routing. Wasn't really a case where I found that you guys did the same things. Seemed like a lot of you guys had different ideas of progressing through the scene.
I have very poor choices. It's my biggest weakness. I pick the wrong place all the time.
So here's the question. So this puts you at what, 2-0 in your group, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't lost yet. I think I played 2 games.
Yeah, you did.
So who all do you still have left to play?
Let me see. It's JTB and Suns Out Guns Out.
Looking forward to the races, or?
Yeah, I've been waiting to get them scheduled. It's been a busy time. Hopefully, I'll be more available in the future here. A lot of stuff going on, and TwitchCon is happening soon, so maybe they'll be making me busy.
Yeah,
again.
that's right.
I
Yeah.
could use a break from all this streaming work.
It's a rough life, huh?
When the subs are half price, if you're not online, you feel like you're wasting money. You just have to be online 80 hours a week. Well, thanks for hosting this. It was fun.
No problem. Good game. It was very entertaining to watch. It was a really fun race.
I'm gonna head on out. Thanks for everything. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for putting on a good show.
Yep. See you later, man.
Take it easy.
And as that is said, make sure to follow both of these runners. Like, Serberoth is in second place here, but I mean, this seed put him all over everywhere. Like, and having to dip into this dungeon, nobody likes doing Ice Palace. Everybody wants to just have it go mode. It's nice and quick. I don't blame him at all for putting this off.
Yeah, I mean, this is just part of Randomizer, honestly. Just sometimes you may have like just a guideline of the stuff you want to do, and some certain seeds it will pay out, but then in other seeds it won't. Like, it just, you never know what a seed is going to bring you. So sometimes you're just going to have to just do your best and just try to do things as they come naturally to you while you're playing through the seed.
Has he found the
He has
medallion?
not. He still only has the Bombos medallion, so he has not found either of the 2 medallions yet.
Oh no.
Ooh, and well, okay, no, he's fine. For a minute, I thought he could have made a mistake by opening that door, but no, there's still a key you can get to progress.
I believe at Cold Stare, is it not?
No, isn't there a key in that one pot room with like all the pots? I don't think he's been in there yet.
He appears to be lost. Or he's just really trying to powder this bunny beam. I don't know if he realizes there's the anti-fairy,
yeah.
the room above, which is much easier to powder.
Yeah, I find for this bunny beam, you have to like get it like.
Yep, Game Face, we do now know what the bunny Zelda looks like. It's just a different variety of bunny. It looks a lot like the bunny Link. Serberoth is going to have a much easier time with this Cold Stare fight than Smight did, having the Tempered Sword already.
And Serberoth must be under the impression that he did key lock, at least for now. He'll get a key from here, obviously, but yeah, he's opting to do this first as opposed to going back up. I really think he can still go back up, though.
Yeah, Ether's in, I think it's in the big chest. Yeah, it's a very curious decision to not, like, if he pieces out after doing this, yeah.
I have a feeling that he's aware that there's still some chests left, though, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, going back in, so he knows that there's still some stuff in here.
Yeah, this dungeon is not the easiest to route, so I understand. There's a lot of different locations, and they're all spread out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, showing how pushy those penguins can be.
They do not like to agree with where you want to put them. It's like getting in the way. I actually only learned the quick strat for the Stealthless Night room very recently. Like I was trying to figure out like how they got that set up because it's so consistent.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the same for me actually. It was very recently when I learned that as well. Because yeah, there are some times where if you have the bomb down and the Stalfos is still standing up, it won't actually trigger. So
Like I was just having problems getting the second one to actually fly up high enough to hit the bomb.
yeah. Sometimes I'll actually just remove the pots before I do it because it just kind of gives me like more running room to get down there quickly and allows me to use that sword swing. Or even, I think I even used like the pot a few times as well to knock him up there.
Yeah, the pot is what you usually use. You just have to go all the way against the wall.
Mm-hmm. The sword sometimes works too. Okay, so Serberoth is in the area where he's going to get the medallions, or at least the big key to open up the big chest, which has the other medallion.
Hopefully, he remembers what the medallion to get into Turtle Rock is, because I believe Quake is right here.
Yeah. And there is your go mode.
Wasn't that one? I thought that was Quake.
Yeah, that was Quake.
We need Ether for Turtle Rock.
Oh. Okay. I'm thinking of Vanilla. My bad.
I was really confused there for a second. I'm like, wait, did I get them backwards? I mean, it's possible. They do look fairly similar.
No, I think that was on me. I'm thinking of Vanilla. There's your go mode.
There it is. Okay.
Still, just both of the other medallions being there, and even though the other item was bombs, it was one letter away from being the other medallion as well. What if all three were actually in that dungeon?
That would have been interesting. But with where the stuff located in this seed, not possible because where the fire rod was.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. One of these days, I would like to see that, or even like maybe like all three medallions in the escape room with three chests. I think that happened with Shields in the first tournament, which I thought that was a very funny clip.
I saw a clip once of it was an open mode seed where all four of the swords were in the rando rune in Gannis Tower.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I think it was Willard streaming it.
Wow. Yeah, that's all 4. That means they didn't have a sword for any of the other bosses in the game except Aghanim. That's hilarious.
Yep. It's only possible if, assuming Aga1 isn't required, and
Swamp being a pendant.
Yep. Where's Serberoth?
Or not Swamp. Skullwoods, not Swamp.
Yeah. Where's Serberoth going? For getting his way up the mountain. Okay. Happens.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes when you've just been on a seed for a really long time, especially when it gets past the 2-hour mark, sometimes your logic starts to fade a little bit. Definitely did that the other day with the drowning the key in Swamp Palace. Like, I've known so many times not to do that, but the longer you go on, just common logic stuff like that will just slip out of your mind for even just a second.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Like, Andy did it in his earlier main tournament race.
It's something you just can't let get to you. If it happens, it happens. It happens to everyone. You should never let it discourage you, even if it's frustrating, even just a little bit.
It's called get your frustration sword slashes out and then move on with life. Yeah, like that's... Wait, where's he going?
I guess he... maybe I don't want to... Oh, wait, magic. Could be going for the double magic. Or half magic.
Double magic, half magic, same thing.
Yeah, it's double the magic, just half of the use, whatever. I just figures like, maybe I don't want to do Turtle Rock. Maybe I'll just try to force my way into Ganon's Tower.
Maybe I'll go, clear the pendant dungeons, pull the pedestal.
It's like
get that butter sword.
It's like I know Ganon's in the pyramid. Let me just try to dig my way through it. Yeah, and it is right there. There are a couple of screen transitions, but it is right there. And
I do have to say, good on Serberoth for finishing this out.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Like, I don't know if he has the IRC open or not. Like, a lot of people, myself included, minimize the IRC window when I'm racing because I don't want to know if my opponent's done.
Mm-hmm,
like, it'll still flash if people need to get a hold of me, like if my name gets mentioned.
Right.
But I don't see the duns. Especially if I'm in a big multi-person race.
Mm-hmm. It's also just nice because it'll give you like some extra practice for the in-game stuff too.
Yeah, when I first started running the randomizer, I had a tendency to just forfeit the seeds earlier. Just I'm like, I don't want to do this, so I just didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So my Ganon's, my tower climb was a little rough always, and I'm finally starting to improve on that.
Yeah. Sometimes if there's just like a huge amount of trolliness, sometimes I will kind of opt to wait until I'm in go mode at the very least to just, find out where all the items were and just kind of have an idea of where things could be. And then I might kind of decide to just kind of quit and leave it at that. But I never try to forfeit an SRL race. I kind of keep going until, I feel like that I can complete the seed. But even then, if you have like a lot of issues and just things are not going your way, maybe you accidentally key locked yourself somewhere, it's definitely understandable if you do want to put in the dot forfeit, but definitely kudos to those who try to stick it out and go all the way to the end. I have a lot of respect for that.
It's called, you key lock somewhere, you accidentally despawn Ganon's tower, you die to Aga 2 for some reason. Like, those are things that are just like, you don't want to deal with that. Oh, and taking a death to the chain chomps. As we said earlier, these things still hurt, even if you have red mail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chain chomps, honestly, being the most dangerous enemy in the game, take away so many hearts just with one hit.
I believe they actually do the same amount of damage as a Ganon hug, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just so funny that a enemy that's not even natural to Legend of Zelda is what deals the most damage as a regular enemy.
Sure, Fricker. The despawn issue in Ganon's tower, if you go up the stairs before the the 4 torches room, at the same time as the door closes to get into that room, all of the sprites in Ganon's tower go away. So you can't fight Moldorm 2, you can't get the validation chest, you can't even fight Aghanim if you get there. I've seen it happen in exactly one tournament race. It's like a frame perfect trick that you don't really want to do.
Yeah, definitely not. Was it something done on accident, or was it something where it's like the other racer finished and the other person just kind of felt like showcasing something?
It was something done on accident and actually cost him the race.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a huge shame.
Like, this was in the spring tournament, so this was a while ago.
Yeah. Okay, Serberoth having that extra key, so he will actually not need, assuming he checks the other chest, which I'm sure he will. Yeah, he won't need to actually look for a key on that eye bridge, which is really nice.
Yeah, I just pasted the clip in chat. I don't think it actually cost him the race, but it was definitely a time sink.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's always time sink when stuff like that happens. The Pokey's kind of trolling a little bit there. Okay, gets that bottle with the fairy. That is very nice to have, especially before Trinix.
They look exactly like powdered dead rocks when they're down to just the
Yeah,
head.
they do, yeah.
Serberoth is passing up on acquiring his shield. I approve of that. Nobody wants a shield.
Yeah, not even our other runner wanted the shield either, so. Especially if it's that first shield, which, as we already talked about earlier, it only really protects against arrows and those rocks that the Octorok shoot out.
Yeah, the dinner plate does not do much to protect you.
I always hear it referred to as the Fisher-Price shield.
That works too. Serberoth taking the left side through this room. Not sure if that was intentional. Yeah, I don't think that was intentional.
Yeah,
This maze, unless you know where you're going, it's really easy to get lost.
Yeah.
Like, I just very recently learned how to do it in the dark.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And he already has a key, so he does not have to do some laser skips. Well, it looks like they are probably going to grab the safety exit just in case.
Yeah.
With 3 hearts, yeah, Trinex is not the easiest fight in the world.
For sure. Although it would be a good idea to maybe use that powder on some of the fairies in the anti-fairies in the next room, just on the off chance that you don't use any of the potions or the fairy that he actually found earlier.
Yeah, it looks like that's the plan.
All right.
I can always get behind fairies. Make liberal use of fairies.
Well, if you got them, use them. That's what I always say. I also love watching some of the Samaria strats in that room where you hit one of the crystal switches and then have the same blast also affect one of the other ones.
Yeah, usually if you're doing that, it's Cane Dash. But yeah, you can do it without it too.
Anyway, here is the Trinex fight.
The rarely seen fire coming out of the firehead.
I'm actually more impressed that both of them fired at the same time. I've never seen that.
I think they aren't they supposed to sync up when they fire?
I've never, well, maybe it's just because I killed the first one before it's too long, but yeah, I've never personally seen that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen the fire one actually shoot, so.
Thankfully, it doesn't turn the floor into lava like the ice head turns the other one into ice. Thankfully, Serb has that fairy.
And Trinex is down.
All right, so that means Serberoth will be making his way to Ganon's tower. Big Key was in the rando room, if I remember correctly, so... If Ganon is somehow watching Serb's progress right now and seeing that full capacity of arrows that can be changed into silvers, he's probably being really, really scared right now.
Oh, no. He's not afraid. He only has the Tempered Sword.
True.
He's only afraid of butter because butter goes really well with bacon.
That's true, yeah.
Actually, butter doesn't really go that well with bacon, but I don't know. I'm going with it.
Whatever.
Oh, he's making the correct play to find the quick big key.
Yep, that will be a quicker play than going to the right side first, but a lot of people do take that right side, though, just because it doesn't take too much time, and if it's there, just saves a lot of going through that huge left side. So we are kind of waiting for Serb to finish up here. This is something I generally like to do with my runs whenever I'm kind of analyzing my runs in races like these. And a lot of runners tend to watch their races back just to see how that went with the other racer. But if we could give Serb any kind of advice, at least in terms of like the progression of this seed, what kind of advice would you give? Because honestly, it seemed like Serb's routing really wasn't that bad. I mean, Serb did have some items, well, maybe not in terms of the actual race time, but in terms of his progression through the seed a little earlier. Like he was able to get the swords before he went to Mire the first time, had the fire rod before going to Ice Palace, which made things a little faster. But is there anything in particular that you see that just to give some advice to Serb that they could use for a future race or run like this?
I think the biggest thing is don't run out of bombs.
Yeah, that would definitely a big thing to help.
Like keeping track of bombs and rupees is one of the skills that doesn't come up a lot in the randomizer, but when it does, it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like don't be afraid to dip into dungeons.
Yeah. Especially when you have like something like Skull Woods, which is right next to the Village of Outcast stuff, and it does have stuff that it's a very quick check to do. And then also, not just for Serb, I even noticed this a little bit. We kind of even talked about it in the interview, but also just item utilization when you don't have a sword, like the Burna use for taking out some of the guards in Hyrule Castle. Serb did actually use that a little bit, but almost kind of forgetting about the green potion that they had that they could have actually used for the rest of that, and that could have saved a second trip as well. So just like things like that can definitely save some time as well.
Yeah, it looks like just in general, just execution. Execution is hard.
For sure, yeah.
Like I don't know if Serberoth has access to the practice ROM, but that in general helps a lot when it comes to execution.
Yeah, for sure. And especially in a case like Randomizer, where, yeah, you can execute the bosses as many times as you want, but then there'll be some cases where you have to approach the boss a little bit differently, much like in the case of this particular seed, where Smight attempted Vitreous with just the fighter sword and no arrows and everything. And just kind of like trying bosses with different scenarios where you like maybe you're out of ammo for your bow and like you want to practice the sword spin stuff, or just trying out other items and weapons against bosses, or even just rooms in dungeons. A lot of people will sometimes opt to use medallions to full clear rooms where you have to kill all the enemies, which could waste some time. But you could have a very trolly room set up too, where in the gauntlet they're just walking all over the place and just getting away from you on the treadmill. So kind of using that practice ROM, trying out different strats and different scenarios can really help runners kind of get through.
Yeah, I've recently started using bombos to kill the Gibdos in Skullwoods in the room where you need to light torches.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's another good one.
Yeah, blind with just hammer is a thing you should learn. Blind with just Cane of Samaria is actually really interesting as well. Doesn't come up overly often, but if it does, it's you want to know it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Serb about to approach Alumno 2, going to use the silver arrows that Smite did not have. And one interesting factoid about the Lomnos, and this actually came into play because Serberoth did kill the bunny beam in the previous room. Depending on what happens with that bunny beam, that'll actually affect the Armos's position in this fight. If you kill the bunny beam, they'll all appear at once, and that can be a little harder to hit them all if that happens.
It's a little harder to hit them all. It's a little laggier.
Oh yeah, that too, for sure.
Yeah, and Rayfin brings up a good point. Like, just the hesitation in going into dungeons when you can do them. He just kept going into overworlds. Like, he checked almost... I'm pretty sure he's checked every location in the game before he went into Ice Palace.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I definitely do get the hesitation though, because that's definitely a fear, especially during a race. It's just like, I don't want to waste more time than I have to. But then, like, you end up checking like a bunch of other locations that also kind of have the no yield as well. So it's just kind of one of those things that you have to kind of get used to and just have that gut feeling that this is going to be the right call.
Yeah, the only ones, I don't think he's done Spike Cave, and I don't think he did Bumper Cave. I think those are the only two that he hasn't done. And he can't do Bumper Cave. So, oh no, taking a fall there.
Where was Cape again?
We don't, GT, I think.
Really? Because I thought that Smight had it a lot earlier than that.
I don't think so. Pretty sure it was in Ganon's Tower. No, it was pretty early, because I remember we were talking about Aga.
Yeah. We mentioned the Aga fight that we wanted them to do that they didn't have to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where it was now.
Yeah, it was very early though. That is true.
I think it was an overworld location that Serberoth didn't do.
Maybe Escape. I don't remember. No, because I think Serberoth did check all of
No,
his
he has the cape. It's just not marked on the tracker. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dang it, DT. You aren't here anymore, but dang it, DT. Thanks, Felix. And once again, thanks to Felix for stepping in and restreaming this at the last minute. Our original restreamer was having technical difficulties, which is why we started a little bit behind.
Mm-hmm. And also, of course, major thanks to DT as well for stepping in as the tracker, because Felix was originally going to be our tracker, and then due to the changes, DT stepped up to do the tracking, and we very much appreciate that. And Moldorm goes down. Well, nonetheless, we do appreciate it, Felix, so thank you very much for all that you did for today's race. Ooh, getting trolled by this turtle. I really hate those turtle guys in this room.
Like, this room, whoever designed this room is just a monster. Like, you have ice physics, you have conveyor belts, you have annoying turtles, and you have bumpers.
You've made it this far. You made it this far. We don't want you to finish the game.
Yeah, I think Serberoth may be relatively new to the Link to the Past randomizer. I know he plays a lot of Super Metroid. Like, he did very well in the Super Metroid randomizer tournament.
And still, like I mentioned this before, I'll say it again. Honestly, a 2-hour run in version 26 is nothing to sneeze at. A lot of runs will go over the 2-hour mark easily, just with how trolly the item setups can be, with all the potential double dipping in dungeons and everything. So, very, very good work, despite all of the bomb and rupees troubles that he's had throughout this particular run.
So we do have location. The Cape was very early in Light World Death Mountain. I guess not very early. I'm guessing that was probably
Okay.
about the half-hour mark.
Yeah, something like that. It was after they got the hook shot at that point.
No, they hadn't had the hook shot at that point. I think because they went.
Yeah,
Oh no, they have
was,
to have. Yeah. Oh man.
yeah,
I
yeah, because
forgot.
Mirror was Helmasaur, so yeah.
Yes. Slash away at Agatu. Slash.
I think he was actually trying to aim for the bat, which honestly probably a better target to go after, but yeah, 39 minutes in, so yeah.
Wonder if he's gonna do the strat to automatically catch this fairy off of the tree. Nope, doesn't look like it.
They recently changed the tree bonking thing because there's for a while I believe it was like different things could come out of the tree bonks.
Yeah, they got some complaints from runners about that. Oh, he doesn't have the bug net. Why is the bug net marked off in the tracker? Jeez, Felix. Getting me all excited, thinking he's gonna catch some fairies. And I think it was right side Ganon's tower. I think that's where it was. Or no.
Yes. No.
No, it was in Turtle Rock in the vanilla big chest.
Yes.
No, that was the shield.
No?
Yeah.
No. Dang it.
It was somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's the bug net.
Yeah, sorry, Fricker. We can't blame DT for everything. Maybe we can, but
Was it Armos? No, it can't have been Armos. I guess it might have been Armos because Serberoth never went back and did that.
Yeah, Smight. That is something Smight did that Serberoth didn't. So.
They're always adding more Ganon sayings, more blind puns, all that stuff. Adding in
more flavor text in general. Yeah, the developers of the randomizer very, very active with this project, so I'm expecting a lot from version 27.
Honestly, I hope they don't change the logic too much. I actually like V26 logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it too, just because it seems random, like a randomizer is supposed to be. I don't kind of like the idea of like an item.
Oh, did he get it? Oh, he almost got a triple.
Ooh,
sorry to interrupt you, but that was
no,
so
that's
close.
fine. That's fine. That was something worthwhile to interrupt me on. But yeah, I was just going to say that I don't like when there's biases for items being in certain locations. I just want full randomness when it comes to randomizer.
And honestly, I think that's almost where we're at now. Because like they are slightly more likely to be in dungeons, but not overly much. There's almost always at least one or two progression items in the overworld. And GG to Serberoth.
Go ahead, do the honors.
He has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 4 seconds.
Yeah, everyone chat, give out those GGs. Very, very good run. Despite the issues, came through, went all the way through it, and very, very good job.
And I am actually going to step out. It's getting a little late here. Looks like he is going to head in here for an interview if you don't mind handling that yourself.
Oh, no problem. I'll go ahead and do that.
Well, and thank you guys very much for watching. Please follow both of these runners. Thank you for commentating alongside me, Slim Kirby. I do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for commentating with me. I appreciate it. And here we go. We have our other
Hello.
runner, Serberoth. Congratulations, GG. Congratulations on finishing that seed.
Yeah, thank you.
Overall, how'd you feel about that seed?
I feel like I screwed up every which way. Like, I think it was a lot simpler than I made it out to be. Like, the seed was kind of telling you where to go, and I like, I just didn't go into dungeons when I should have. Like, and every time I found something, it was always in a dungeon, and I just kept looking for the next progression item, and just like I was checking overworld spots, and I should have gone into the dungeons a lot sooner.
Yeah, we did definitely kind of notice that. But honestly, like you can't really fault yourself too much for that because I mean it is randomizer, even if it is version 26, and there are a lot more items in dungeons. There will always come that point where you have that mindset, and then they won't be in there. So we definitely don't put that too much on yourself for that. Honestly, one of the interesting things is that you had a lot more easier boss setups than what your opponent did. Your opponent actually had to double dip Misery Mire because he went in initially with just Fighter Sword and had a really, really tough but fun battle to watch with Vitreous. But unfortunately was unable to finish him off, so he came back later once he got the Tempered Sword, which you, on the other hand, you actually came through there and did that immediately on your first try, and had a much easier Cold Stare fight as well, because he also opted to do Cold Stare with the Fighter Sword. But definitely the big play that really kind of set things in motion for Smight was that he did take that early look into Skullwood, which is where the Titans met. So that was probably where the race kind of started becoming a little more in his favor.
Yeah, so for some reason I kept thinking I couldn't go into Skullwoods, so that's why it took me so long to go into Skullwoods. I was like, I can't go in there. Oh, I don't, and I don't even know why, because I know you can do the whole front half without the fire rod, and just I didn't go in there for the longest time because I kept thinking I can't go in here. I can't go in here.
Definitely very understandable. We've all had moments like that. I actually had a moment like that in my last main tourney race where I just forgot about a location and just not really knowing the exact requirements for it. So that definitely happens. I can't blame you for that. Another thing we noticed is you ran out of bombs a lot.
No. Oh my god, my bomb management is so bad.
Honestly, Smight had the same issues with that as well, so you didn't lose too much time in the grand scheme of things compared to your opponent. Your opponent also ran out of bombs a few times, had to go back and buy bombs twice, which I believe was the same number that you had to go back and buy them too. So, yeah, there weren't a lot of bombs in that seed at all.
Yeah, I feel like that cost me 20 minutes by itself. Just not having, because there were places where I went to go check, realized I didn't have any bombs, and then like that's why I fluted so many times in a row, because I was like I fluted in the desert. I'm like, I'll go check Agnes Cave, and oh, I don't have any bombs. I gotta float. I flew away. Oh, I'll check Ice Rock Cave. Okay, get up. I don't have any bombs. I gotta float away. Like I kept doing that because I was like, I don't have any bombs, and I kept running out of bombs. It was so bad.
Yeah, and not just bombs too. There were also a few times where you were low on rupees as well because of the Zora purchase that you made.
Yeah, I should just stop going to Zora. He never has anything that I want ever. I go up there early and I'm never rewarded.
Yeah, but you know the way Randomizer works. The one time you don't do that, he's going to end up having something.
Oh yeah, I totally know that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely do not be discouraged. You had a really good run. You had honestly, you did have some really good boss fights, and just had easier boss fights in general. So definitely don't be discouraged. It was a very fun, entertaining race to watch, and it was just very enjoyable, and good job on finishing.
Yeah, no, I'm not really discouraged. Coming up to this race, I didn't have that much practice. I've been really busy with work, so like I got one more racer in my group to go, and it's been fun.
Yeah, honestly, that's the most important part. As long as you're having fun, that's honestly all that matters in the end.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that last race, is there just anything you'll take from this particular race that you want to try for that next race?
Well, like I said, I'm definitely gonna try to go into the dungeons a little bit more, and I'm probably gonna skip Zora for a little bit later. Like, even though I can fake flipper up to him, he never gives me anything. So unless I feel like I need to go up there, I'm not gonna go up there.
Yeah, that's honestly a good mindset, because sometimes those sequence breaks, as cool as they are and as beneficial as they can be, sometimes it's also a skip in the logic, and that may not always be rewarding. And even if it is rewarding, sometimes it could lead you away from the trail of breadcrumbs that the seed wants you to kind of go on.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was ecstatic when I went to Catfish and got boots.
Oh yeah, that was one thing. I'm trying to think what exactly that set into motion. Probably just the speed in general, but yeah, like that was definitely a hype moment when both of you went up to Catfish, and we were actually kind of estimating, because at that point Smight was definitely in the lead, but before that, he did a bunch of other overworld stuff, and then you actually got to Catfish not much longer after he did, and you started kind of following in his footsteps a little bit. I believe you went to Pod not too long after that, and that's when you got your hook shot, and that item right there is what kind of set the seed in motion a little bit, because that's where the bow was going to end up being, but you did have the unfortunateness of not having the Titans mitt yet.
Yeah, and I didn't go to Skull Woods for a long time because, again, I kept thinking I couldn't go in there. So
yeah,
oh well,
very understandable. So we are probably getting ready to wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to say for our listeners, watchers out there before we go?
No, thanks everybody for watching.
Okay, well, I think with that we are. Oh, sorry, I'm having a little trouble with my mic right now. I think with that we are going to kind of wrap things up. I want to thank once again. I want to thank our restreamer Felix the Cat for stepping up to be our restreamer for this match. Thanks to In the Name of DT for being our tracker, and of course Felix for taking over his duties when he had to leave. Thank you to Levon Firestorm, who was my co-commentator for the match, who had to step out before this interview. And of course, once again, follow our runners. They put on a great show for us, and there'll be plenty of more matches to come for the secondary tournament and for the main tournament as well. It's been a lot of randomizer all the time. It's been a fun last few weeks, and I think it'll continue to be a fun couple of weeks for the continuation of these tournaments. So this has been Slim Kirby, and this has been the Randomizer Mania channel. I will leave it at that. Talk to you guys later, and see you for more Randomizer in the future.